What's up guys, Weather Wednesday coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we've got a big update and it's the beginning of the new fusion. Wixwell here. We'll click on his name there. Vaultkeeper Wixwell. Now this is a champion that was voted on by the community. Personally, I kind of forgot to vote the entire time. I was busy with things. Let me know if you actually voted on this and if this was your choice. See if we can give you credit or if we can give you blame or not. But the early results are in, and it seems that he's mostly, above all else, potentially very good in Hydra. Some people have tested him out in Arena, and he might be viable in Arena. I think it's going to take some work for us as a community to figure out how to use him best. He seems, at the very least, difficult to use in Arena. Although I think that if you put him in the right setup, you might be able to make him very useful. He's very difficult. The main thing with him is that he has this brand new intercept buff, which can keep your allies from getting debuffed, including sheep. So that's very interesting. Now, personally, I don't feel like he is an absolute must get for everyone. Like Armand's, everybody should have gotten him. Estrid, I feel like everybody could have used Estrid. You go further back, like Newt was an absolute, you needed to get Newt. Wixwell, I think he's interesting, and I think he's potentially useful. I don't think you have to get him, but if you have the resources to get him, I would get him. Now, the only thing is, he is not, it's not complicated to do this fusion. They actually made it pretty straightforward. They did come out with a schedule here, and they actually made it pretty decent to start off with. Can I make that bigger? There we go. So to start off with, today, May 9th, Thursday, Dungeon Divers event coinciding with Dragon Tournament starting today. So I'm going to try to knock out as much of the Dragon Tournament as I can today, because starting tomorrow is the Champion Chase and Champ Training event. Now those go together great for one simple reason, and that is because tomorrow we're going to have a 2x chance for getting legendary and epic champions from the ancient shards. What makes that even better is that you have a small chance, depending on how many shards you pull, of perhaps pulling one of the epic champions that you will need, because this is a classic fusion. So you will need to turn 16 rares into 4 epics into the legendary champion. So Arwid Quivergrass is the epic that we are looking for, and there's multiple ways of getting her, of course. For every event that you complete at the required level, you will get Terex the Restless, a rare, and you will need to level up 4 of each of those to fuse into an epic that you will need to level up into level 50 4 times. But they did make a way for us to get one of these epics next weekend with this Summon Rush. They wouldn't make it so easy as to get it with the Champion Chase. The Champion Chase is, of course, much easier to do than the Summon Rush. Summon Rush, you just have to pull typically Sacreds, depending on the lineup. But because we are having a 2x event for Ancients this weekend, we're probably not having a 2x event for anything next weekend, which means, personally, I'll probably just be pulling whatever sacred shards I have available, and hopefully that will be enough to get to the epic. which would save me from having to do 4 events. Possibly 5 events? Let's see, because you can get the rare for the summon rush, and then you can get the epic. So it'd actually save you from having to do 5 entire events. But like I said, if you are summoning ancient shards, or if you are summoning primal or sacreds, you could get one of the epics tomorrow or this weekend. It has happened for me before, and it feels great when you pull one of those epics because you save time. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get the rare from those because the rare is void. So you would have to pull void shards if you get in a pinch, or if you're missing any of these rares for any reason. Now I would hold off on doing that until next weekend, assuming that you have the ancient shards. But going forward after this weekend, after the champ chase and champ training are all over, and you should be double dipping with the dungeon divers as much as possible. Then coming into Monday, we're going to start with, actually, it looks like it starts, actually on Saturday, we have Artifact Enhancement and Classic Arena. Artifact Enhancement is easy enough as long as you have silver. Classic Arena is the easiest event. You just play Arena and try to pick on easy opponents, and it takes something like 30 wins if you're in gold 5. So if you're lower, of course, it'll take more wins, but it's pretty easy considering that you get upwards of 39 free battles per day. So I always have Classic Arena done before the first day is over, personally. Then we go into Ice Golem Tournament, which actually starts before the end of Dungeon Divers, it looks like. So you can definitely, you should be able to get the Dungeon Divers event done pretty easily, considering that you can do it with Dragon Tournament, with the Champ Training event, and with the Ice Golem Tournament. And then if you already have it done by the time the Ice Golem Tournament starts, well, you can wait for Dungeon Divers event too. That's probably what I'll end up doing, is double dipping there. But then we have kind of a quiet period during that Dungeon Divers event. So I'll probably do mostly Spider for that. And that'll be great if I can do Spider, because it leads up to the next Artifact Enhancement, event number 2. So we'll have a day on Wednesday for that, to get that started. And then you can double dip again with the Dungeon Divers with the Fire Knight tournament and another Champ Training tournament. So this fusion is actually great for double and triple dipping your Dungeon Divers with a dungeon and a Champ Training. So that is a lot of work to do, but at least they made it so that we can double and triple dip. Then next Friday, May 17th, we will have that Summon Rush. This is kind of, well, it's somewhat optional. You will need to at least get the rare, assuming that you don't summon a rare or an epic for the fusion over this weekend. You will need to at least summon for the rare. I would advise that if you have the resources, that you go for that epic, so that you can avoid the last Dungeon Divers event, the last Classic Arena, the last Spider tournament, the last Artifact Enhancement event. But that's kind of up to you. If you just want to get the lower reward on the Summon Rush and then complete all the other events, you can double dip again with the Spider tournament, along with the Artifact Enhancement event once you've sold all that gear for silver, and the Dungeon Divers event 3 that also matches up with the Fire Knight tournament and the Champ Training tournament. So it is fairly straightforward, but this type of fusion is a little more resource heavy because you're going to have to level up all these rares, which of course you're going to want to do for Champ Training. That's fine. And you're going to have to level up all of these epics, but that's going, leveling things up takes resources. because you're going to have the potions necessary to ascend all of them. You're going to probably want to have a bunch of brews on hand if possible. You're going to need a bunch of chickens if possible. But at least we're starting with the 2 times ancient shards. Because personally, I am pretty low on chickens. And I will need to be pulling these ancient shards, not just because I want a great new legendary, that I do. Not just because I want to hope that I pull one of the fusion epics, I do. But I also need all of those chickens for champ training. So I feel like the fusion is pretty straightforward. It is a little intensive on your resources, but they did make it so that you could double and triple dip a lot of things. So I think it's fairly manageable. Sometimes they do things really to kind of hurt the player base to make it more difficult, but I think they made it a little bit better. But it's still going to be difficult because it's a classic fusion, and the champion has potential, but he's not necessary. I don't think that not having him will stop anyone's progression, but getting him might help you. So I don't think he's as important as like an Armand's. I don't. Like, everybody that could get Armand's absolutely needed him because he's vital in live arena. He's so important in regular arena. He helps people with, get through like Doom Tower waves or whatever kind of wave content that you might come across, whether in Cursed City or like possibly dungeons even. You can use him all over the place. This guy seems like mostly a Hydra champion. Possibly could help with like an early game Demon Lord clan boss or something. He could probably help in some other areas. I saw that they pointed out that he'd be very good against the Magma Dragon. Okay. If that's something that you're struggling with, okay. But I would say that if you have the resources, I would go for him. I'm going to go for him, but he's not the most vital champion that we've had as a fusion. I'll just put that as my opinion. I would say go for him if you can, but if you cannot, I wouldn't lose sleep over it either. He seems interesting and different, but I don't think he's going to be super meta in the arena. And I think he's one of many useful champions that could be good in Hydra. Now, we do have a lot of updates in the game otherwise. It looks like the Cursed City is going to be resetting tonight. So we've got 18 hours left at the time of recording. This Cursed City went pretty well for me. As typical, I do typically finish off normal Cursed City, and it was a bit scattered. I didn't really put in the effort on some of these random things. I just didn't feel like building the champions. Honestly, I was a little bit lazy, but I did take down Amius for the first time. I put out a video a couple weeks back showing how I took him down solo with Godseeker Aniri. It was a challenge, but it was possible. I just didn't bother with some of this top stuff. It was too challenging. I had weird champions available to me. Like, I just didn't feel like building them out. So we're gonna get a reset. We'll see what the rotation is for this coming month. We'll find out. And then there was a bunch of updates, including for the first time, we can empower epics. It happened, unfortunately, and we can go here. We can choose epics. Unfortunately, all of my fusible epics are currently faction guardians because, of course, I didn't save random epics or whatever. Everything everything that I have. You can see the yellow little marker there saying that everything is a faction guardian. So I'm not really able to do that, but maybe tomorrow, personally, when I pull my ancient shards, maybe I'll get an epic that I want to empower. We'll find out. Maybe we'll be able to put that into the middle of a video as I pull shards tomorrow. But yeah, the latest update, it appears to be live. The new champions, all the new champions are in the game. If you look at your news, it is now separated from feature news to general news. So this is a list of all the new champions that are released. Feature news, these are all the things that have changed. It does look like, okay, let's try this out. We can choose this and instant upgrade. What happens here? What does it use? It uses all of these 1 stars, and that will instant upgrade to level 10. That's pretty cool. That's pretty fast. And so you can, I think that you can choose. It doesn't really say that you can choose if you want to use champions or brews. I don't know if that is an option. Well, I have to play around with that a little bit, I suppose. And then, so there are a lot of updates. I might have forgotten something. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about, but we'll figure that out over time. Now, here's the Dragon Tournament. As I said, I've already done about a third of it personally, and we'll work our way up toward this rare. After that, I'm not really going to care about epic books. When you get toward the epic game, toward the end game, epic books, they come at you fast and furious. Like, I get more epic books than I really know what to do with, so I'm not going to personally worry about that probably. I get them when I get them, not a big deal. As you can see, tournament leaders are already way up there. I'm not going to challenge them just over some gear. But you get 200 gold soul coins there. You get the rare. You get some diamonds back along the way. Not a big deal. I would take my time with this, get this done over the first couple of days, then start really working on the champ training. That's it. Let me know if you are feeling like going for this particular champion. As I said, I am going to be going for him. I feel like if you have the resources, it gives you something to do in the game. Unless you think that he's absolute trash, I would go for him if you have the resources. In the past, there have been champions that I have skipped, and I don't really regret skipping bad champions. But this guy, he's probably good enough that he could be useful. I might try him out in Hydra when I finally get him. I probably will, see if he works with my team or not. I think he's worth going if you have plenty of resources. If you don't worry about it. That's my opinion. Let me know if you disagree in the comments below. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. That is my short-term goal, and I hope that you can help me out. And I will be back with more Raid Shadow Legends content. See ya!